Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Trivia Robert. Alright, XFL week number 6. Week 5 was rough. I was 0-4 and straight up picks, 1-3 against the spread, 0-4 on the over-under. If we look back at week 5, we had the 4-0 Houston Roughnecks lose to the 2-2 Seattle Sea Dragons. Didn't see that coming. St. Louis and DC, I was a little biased. I was hoping the BattleHawks would win that. The 2-0-4 teams, I got that one right. Figured that one out. And then San Antonio at home beating Arlington. Teams are pretty darn close. Arlington beating San Antonio. I thought the home team would win that one. But you know, you win some, you lose some. Overall, on the season, we are 12-8. 13-7 against the spread, 7-13 on the over/under, 32-28 overall, 53%. I can live with it. I'd rather be around 60, but I can live with 53 because that's above 500. All right, as we get ready for Week 6, we are halfway through the XFL 2023 season. 5 games down, 5 games to go. Now, if we want to talk playoffs, because it's that time, we got to talk playoffs. In the North, DC is 5-0. They have a 2-game lead over the St. Louis BattleHawks, who are 3-2. And then they are tied with Seattle Sea Dragons, 3-2. And then Vegas Vipers are 1-4, 3 games out. So the way the playoffs are going to work in the XFL, if you didn't know, the top 2 in each division will play. So in this case, DC Defenders versus St. Louis in a rematch. DC's actually won both previous games. And then the winner of that game would go on to the XFL Championship game versus the winner of the South. So right now in the South, Houston Roughnecks are 4-1. They have a 1-game lead over the 3-2 Arlington Renegades. San Antonio Brahmas are 1-4. They're 3 games out. And then the Orlando Guardians are 0-5. They're 4 games out with 5 games to play. So they're pretty much mathematically not eliminated as of yet. If Houston wins and Orlando loses, they will be out. So the games this week. First game, we have the Seattle Sea Dragons, 3-2, going against the 0-5 Orlando Guardians. North versus South here. Seattle's won 3 straight. They are 1-3 in their division, while the Guardians have lost 5 straight. They're 0-4 within their division. Seattle is favored by 8.5. I got Seattle winning. Orlando covering the 8.5 because that's a big spread. And I'm taking over on the 42 because the Guardians can't stop anyone. Next up, we have the 3-2 St. Louis BattleHawks going against the 1-4 Vegas Vipers. BattleHawks have lost 1 straight. They are 1-2 in their division, while the Vipers are 0-3 in the division, and they won last week. This is 2nd versus 4 in the division in the North. St. Louis is favored by 3. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 44. The BattleHawks have scored 22 points a game while giving up 21.3. But the Vipers have scored 21 points a game, giving up 26.8. I have a hard time seeing the Vegas score 26 against the BattleHawks. And the BattleHawks, if you add what they've scored and what they give up, it's under the 44. That's why I'm under the 44. Go BattleHawks. As we've seen in the 2 games, the 38,000 and 35,000 at the American Center in St. Louis, St. Louis fans will come out for a football team. I don't know what the Rams' deal was, but hopefully NFL expansion comes here. If not, we get the BattleHawks. Maybe a USFL expansion team. Maybe we'll get a CFL game. If you haven't, check out the video I did about USFL, CFL, and XFL not playing each other, but a working relationship with one another. Check that out. And then next up, we have the 1-4 San Antonio Brahmas versus the 3-2 Arlington Renegades. The Brahmas have lost 3 straight. They're 1-2 in their division, while Arlington they won last week. They're 2-1 in their division. Arlington is favored by 3. I got them winning, covering. I'm taking under on the 32.5 on this one, because neither of these offenses have really scored a lot, so I think it's going to be one of those close games. And then our final game, we have what right now would be the XFL Championship game. Number 1 in the South versus number 1 in the North, the 4-1 Houston Roughnecks going against the 5-0 DC Defenders. The Roughnecks are scoring 27.2 points a game, number 1 in the XFL. DC is scoring 26.8 points a game. Guess what? Number 2 in the XFL. The Roughnecks are giving up 15.2 points a game, while DC is giving up 18. Houston is 4-0 in their division, while DC is 5-0 in their division. DC's won 5 straight. We know Houston won 4 straight, then lost last week. DC looks like a dominant team, 5-0, scoring second most points in the league. DC is favored by 2.5 at home. I got the Defenders winning, covering an over on the 42. So we got Seattle, St. Louis, Arlington, and DC winning. What's that? What is that going to do to the playoff picture? DC wins. They're already number 1 in the North. St. Louis wins. They're already second in the North. I got Seattle winning, and I got Vegas losing. So Vegas will be 4 games out with 4 to play. And then South, I got Houston losing, Arlington winning. So there's going to be a tie atop the South if my picks come true. San Antonio, I have losing, and then Orlando, I have losing. So, yeah, I mean, it'll tighten up Houston and Arlington. Do they play coming up? Because that'll be interesting if they do. No. Oh, there we go. Week 10. Oh, that final week. Houston and Arlington. So they could play in Week 10 as 1-2 seeds in the South. They could be tied even. And who knows? And the winner of that would host the following week for the playoffs. First week of the playoffs. Oh, wow. So we could get Houston and Arlington Week 10 and the first week in the round of the playoffs. More than likely we will. Craziness. All right, that is XFL Week 6. 16 Robert Sports Show as we go through 10 weeks of XFL championship game, and then this other football league that, according to the commercials, the real football league. I don't understand. I thought XFL was real football. Begins on April 15th. We'll have Week 1 right here on Robert Sports Show as well. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.